But thanks so much for everybody for joining. Really what we want to cover today is we've got an agenda. I'm going to do a bit about Action in Acumatica, talk about the AI strategy within Acumatica, and then turn it over to Chris, and he'll show you some examples. So who we are, we're based in Maumee, Ohio, just outside of Toledo, and we've got about 240, probably pushing 250 now. With almost 7,000 customers. We've been around since 1979. We're a top 20 value-added reseller, so I'm going to give you some acronyms today. Bear with me. But the whole premise of this is that we're a very strong Acumatica partner. We call our division the multi-industry division, and that really because we not only sell the construction edition, but we also have distribution, manufacturing, retail, and e-commerce as well. And the reason why I should share this with you is that we have a lot of customers in construction, manufacturing, or some industry items, and we can mix and match. So, hey Claire, I think we've got an open mic. I apologize.
Just thinking the same thing. Chris, could you make sure that your mic is muted?
Great. Thanks so much. That's perfect. We also do implementation and training. We have a level 1 help desk for our customers to be able to call in. And we also do software development as well. So as I made mention, we've got 50 focused people within our division. And we also have another one of our acronyms, which is what we refer to as an ISV, which is an independent software vendor. And those are people that can connect to Acumatica and add more extra value if it's outside of the basics of what the ERP application needs to do. And I'll share some of those with you as well as we move forward. We also handle file migrations, business intelligence, platform integration, workflows, and customizations. Some of those you'll see today. We have something that we feel is very unique within Action Associates, and it's our lean implementation proposition. And really the whole goal of lean implementation is to help reduce the costs and time to go live. We want to manage for anything that might come up that's out of scope. We introduce best practices. We know Acumatica and our consultants are very versed in their specific industries. And so we really, at the end result, we want to earn your right for you to recommend Action and Acumatica to your peers. So I'm not going to belabor this, but it's a 16-step process that goes through, and I'm going to highlight just a couple of things. We do a very in-depth discovery. We then take a sample of your data and do what we refer to as a conference room pilot, kind of a day in the life of using Acumatica. And at that point, we can tweak workflows and things that we're going to talk about today as far as artificial intelligence and take you through. We do a pre-go live, so you know what it's going to be like to go live, and then we actually schedule a go live, and then we move on to post-go live support and continue to support you as one of our customers. So now I'm going to segue over to Acumatica, and really the thing I love to say the most is Acumatica was designed and built for the cloud. It is totally 100% cloud enabled. It's the only mid-market application that was designed and built in this century. Most ERP applications were from the 80s and 90s and been retrofitted and such, but Acumatica is truly designed and built for the cloud. Acumatica sells and implements 100% through their partner channel. And so we as Action Associates, we're a top tier partner within the Acumatica community, probably a top 2, 3, or 4, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we've got well over 250 implementations that we've done. So really, and just, for those that might be on here that are not in the cloud, obviously it's accessibility, the ability to run on any type of a device. So you can be on your phone, on a tablet, on a laptop, wherever from anywhere. And really it gives you that capability. But the other nice thing is high availability and security, obviously being hosted on Amazon's website, web services, or Microsoft's Azure. Those are the top 2 in the industry, and they're highly secured. So the platform, really, we've got these different applications, the cloud ERP application, and then the layer below that is what Acumatica refers to as their XRP platform. That's the tool set that Acumatica created to develop all these applications you'll see today. And then there's a technology stack below that, which is the programming language and the database that's used within the Acumatica product. But most of those are all industry standards: C#, ASP.NET, SQL Server is the database. So, but basically it's an open solution that can run on anything if need be. So now I'm going to go over a little bit and start talking a little bit about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So the capability of obviously of artificial intelligence is to enable software or a machine to sense, reason, and act like a human. And we're all starting to see this a lot with Chat GPT and those type in Google and such, Facebook. So really what we're taking is we're saying that the machine learning is going to take that AI and allow machines to extract knowledge from the data that's inside of it, and that being Acumatica. So also things like deep learning, which is a subset where you can get really highly sophisticated and attach outside resources. So now within Acumatica and their AI, really what we're saying is that the capability of those open application program interfaces or APIs, abilities of other people to connect, and that often leads to a great connection with artificial intelligence. So really it's innovation that's out in the industry. And the other nice thing is that there are clear data security. So that's another really important thing with artificial intelligence. You just don't want somebody to be able to walk up to a terminal and ask questions about payroll, things of that nature. So it's all built in and inherent within Acumatica. So as far as just a very high level, you enable the AI tool set within Acumatica. You can configure different options, and then the ability to use and deliver data, especially the dashboards, is how Acumatica has set this up. So when we move to the ERP applications, so there's things like within ERP, you maybe want to look at trend analysis, anomalies. That's inherent right now with the current release of Acumatica, where you can do anomaly detection. So I want to look at my data and see things that might be completely out of the normal realm of what my data is. Maybe it's gross profit margins. I'm normally running at a 20% margin, and I see something in there that's a negative 24. I want to go take a look at that. And you can set those parameters up. Also, different things, you can take different actions based upon your data. And then the capability of doing chat and voice assistance. And you'll see some of this when Chris goes into the application. Within the AI studio of Acumatica, there are tools that will connect data. So it could be data from Acumatica, it could be data from maybe other outside services as well. As I mentioned, security, management, and licensing is all part of the AI studio with Acumatica. And then the internal and external, which are LLMs, which are large learning modules where you can go out and attach to some other source, maybe like a Chat GPT as an example. So within Acumatica, what's available today is we have data insights, that anomaly detection in data and general inquiries that you can create within Acumatica, AI Assist, which is an advanced search capability, and intelligent text completion. These are all inherent within Acumatica. Also, AI Automate, things that you'll see, and Chris will show you today, AP document recognition, expense receipts recognition, and the like. So within anomaly detection, you can look at and highlight data you want to review. It's configurable, as I mentioned, so you can look at parameters that you pre-set up of what you want to see. And you can build alerts and dashboards, once again, that you have that capability throughout Acumatica, but I can create a dashboard to say, highlight something that's out of the norm of what you determine you want to show. Could be like sales orders, as I mentioned, with margins, purchase order cost analysis, vendor price analysis using your AP bills to do comparisons. So this is a representation, something that Chris will show you today, but really taking an AP document via email or scanner, run it through the machine learning engine so it knows what to do with that, and then take it through the process of getting the AP bill into Acumatica, maybe with workflows, routing that for different approvals within your organization, and then on to payment, all automated. So what's going on right now with Acumatica, which is what we're going to refer to as in the lab, are insights and automate. So suggestive things, as an example here, it's cross-reference recommendations. So as you're selling something, if you're in a business where you have inventory or whatever it may be, it's going to come up and give you suggestions on what to sell. Order orchestration as well, how I want to route my orders, a perfect example. Within the studio, we can generate product descriptions, probably a lot more in depth than what you have today. Text search and case closure notes, code creations, AI help capability, and the ability to voice and ask for help within Acumatica. And then those general inquiries that feeds to the AI Assist via OData. So here's an example of a generic inquiry that goes out to a large language module and then uses the OData for the feed. So you can go out and say, what happens if I do this? It would come back with results as an example. So the key takeaways I really want to talk about is just that it's revolutionary. Obviously, we're all in the midst of this, but Acumatica has a strategy and it's starting to deliver. Really, within the small, medium businesses, you can't deliver that. It's so hard, excuse me, to interface all that within your current legacy solutions. So really, it's evolving, but it's here to stay, and Acumatica is leveraging that to the fullest extent. So now a little bit just about Acumatica without the AI capability, just an overview of Acumatica, the different editions that are available: construction, manufacturing, distribution, retail, and professional services, all on the same platform. Financials are all universal amongst those, just different ways to bundle different parts of the application. So construction's project central, manufacturing is MRP specific. So I talked about earlier the embedded ISV integrations. Here's just an example of some of those. Payroll, Amazon, Shopify, Procore, Job Planner, Smartsheet, taxes like Avalara, DocuSign, Adobe Sign, all have integrations within Acumatica. So a little bit about how Acumatica is growing. It's the fastest growing ERP solution in mid-market, well over 10,000 customers, and $500 billion of transactions based within Acumatica. Those ISVs I talked about earlier, there's over 270 of those. And then lastly, but I think most important, is what we refer to as the Net Promoter Score. And Net Promoter Score, Acumatica twice a year surveys their customers and says, would you recommend Acumatica to a peer? And generally in the ERP industry, that number is usually between a 1 and a 10. So if you have that opportunity, do a ChatGPT or do a Google search on Net Promoter Score in ERP, and Acumatica is way over the charts. So the other thing I want to highlight just on how Acumatica licenses their product, they have a small business edition, which is either a 5 or a 10 named user solution, or you can move up to the next level, which is unlimited users based upon what's referred to as a consumption-based license. So Acumatica looks at 8 major types of transactions in any business. Sales order is an example in distribution, AP invoices is an example in construction, work orders is an example in manufacturing, purchase receipts, AR statements. There's 8 that they track. And we take whatever one is the highest, just one. And generally in construction, it's AP invoices. And they say that sets the size of whatever your highest number per month. That sets the size of your environment. And at that point, anybody and everybody can use Acumatica. So as you grow, it might be just a small, minute change from 1,000 transactions a month. Maybe you have to tier up to the next level. It's nowhere near like what you have to do when you have to buy more named users, especially when they come in blocks of 10 or 20, whatever it may be. So really a different way of an approach in ERP and a different way to access. The other thing, 2 major releases a year within Acumatica. Right now we're in the release called 2025 Release 1, and in the fall will be 2025 Release 2. And these are major updates and major enhancements. So you have the ability also, as part of this process, to add put in suggestions of what you'd like to see. Also, Acumatica offers is free with their licensing Acumatica Training and Open University, where you can enroll yourself by a role, whatever type of courses you want, and become certified in those particular areas. The community, this is where you can put suggestions in, as I mentioned, but this is where Acumatica developers live and partners live and customers live. It's a robust community. The access to that is community.acumatica.com, and go take a look at it if you're not a customer. It's a really helpful tool to help you get answers and get assistance. So I'm going to kind of leave off with here, but this is the customer bill of rights Acumatica created, and really software and services with clear fee structures, unlimited user access, as I made mention, the ability to customize, and that's really unique with Acumatica as well. So if you have something very specific and you want a customization, we as Action Associates can do that customization for you. Transparent and fair pricing without long-term commitments. Acumatica renews every year. It's not a 3 or a 5-year commitment. And you can deploy on either the public cloud, which is what I've been mentioning, Amazon or Microsoft, or you can deploy in a private cloud. If you still want to have a server on site or some local provider, you can do that as well. Those APIs I made mention are inherent. Security is second to none, and you can also set up Acumatica security based upon a role as well. Also, the capability of accessing your data, it's yours. You can take it with you. You can have it on site if you'd like to have that option, but it's your own data. The other nice thing, as I made mention, is the community and the training, which is part of the Acumatica Open University. So really, I'm just going to, the highlights here, the unlimited flexible deployments, you own your data, and transparent pricing. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris, and he's going to show you a few examples of some of the AI capabilities we have today.
All right. Thank you very much, Kip. I'm going to share my screen for you all. All right. Excellent. So we should be looking at what is a dashboard in Acumatica. For those of you that are not familiar with Acumatica at all, this is a typical landing page that you would see for a user as they come into Acumatica, which is very role-driven system. So depending upon the role you play, you may have different information and different dashboards presenting information to you here. I'm going to keep this a little bit more kind of project and construction centric here. So I've got a little bit of a project manager dashboard that I'm looking at. But basically what we're going to do here today is provide you just a little bit of insight into some of the AI assistance and automation of some of the processes that exist within Acumatica. So we're going to talk about a little bit about just some search functionality that AI jumps in and helps us out with. We're going to talk about AP document recognition. So we're going to automate and process invoicing. And then we'll also talk a little bit about how AI comes in to assist us on the expense management side. So with that, I'm just going to jump into our global search functionality here, which is going to sit at the top of Acumatica here. As you navigate through the system, that option is always right there for you. And you'll notice a couple things kick in here. As I just started typing, this is where some of that predictive text recognition is coming into play. And it's kind of guessing ahead of me typing what it is that I'm looking for here. So as I give it more context, right, it's going to continue to filter that information down even more. So in this case, if we wanted to kind of come in here and take a look at something like subcontracts, again, the more I type out here, the more it's going to go ahead and filter information and so forth. But at this point, you can see it's coming back and it's recommending to me from a navigational perspective, a host of menu options here that I could go and quickly navigate across the platform with. So if I wanted to drill into my subcontracts here, I can quickly navigate to that particular section of Acumatica. Again, these are, I can continue to provide it more information to get more context sensitive there. It's also going out and trying to recognize any transactions that may have taken place in the system relevant to that search term. So again, the AI is jumping in here to kind of do that analysis for us and going out and finding that information. And then it's also going through and pulling up any maybe related help topics that might help us understand additional information about this particular search term, right? So I can navigate my way through some of the help topics here to quickly find that and do a little bit more research on that topic. As well as going out and doing a quick search on any files that may have been uploaded into the system. Now you can see here, I've got a ton of subcontracts that I've got within my system here. So it's going to start pulling all those up. And I've got several pages full of subcontracts here that I could quickly go find. So again, the more specific information you provide it, the better job it's going to do at figuring out what it is that you're looking for. So that's just a little bit of a high level search capability and some of the assistance that the AI component of this will provide you. So we're going to jump forward here, and I'm going to get into a little bit of kind of our AP document recognition process here, and we'll show you how the AI engine comes into play here. Now, this is a process that I'm going to walk you through that can be extremely automated as you go through and get familiar with the system. But you can certainly kind of do this from I'm going to say 3 perspectives here: very manual, semi-automated, and completely automated process, right? So the concept here being that as we're receiving invoicing into our system, we don't want to have to go through and touch a lot of that information, re-enter data, all of those kinds of good things. We would like the system just be able to read that invoice and populate the appropriate transactions for us. So within this incoming documents section here within our AP belt, our AP module, the concept here would be that you would want to train your vendors to email you invoicing into, AP documents at, yourcompany.com, whatever that email address may be. And as those emails flow in here, obviously we can come in here and grab something manually and drag and drop it in here to begin to process that invoice. I'm going to kind of walk you through that here in just a moment. Or it could have come into our email accounts, and we have some capabilities within your email accounts, whether that be on the Outlook platform or Gmail. There's a plugin for both of those platforms for Acumatica, which then can allow you to kind of push that invoice into Acumatica. And it'll all going to land here on this particular screen. It's just a question of how automated do we make that. Or you can completely turn this on and connect it to that email account that you set on. And so as documents come into that email account, they're automatically going to land here and get processed for you. So manual, semi-automated, completely automated process. But I'm going to come in here and grab an invoice on my other screen here that I'm going to drag into the system. So this is, again, the very manual approach. And so that document has landed here now. So as I come through, I can come and tell it to go through and recognize this document. So this is now the AI engine kicking into play here. It's going to process this PDF of this invoice for us. And when it gets done here, we can come in and take a look at it. And you're going to see over here on my right-hand side is going to be that actual invoice. So that's the PDF file that was sent in here. Now over on the left, you can see it's gone through and it's done its best to kind of recognize the information on that particular invoice and begin to populate the information for us here in Acumatica. So you can see here, it picked up our detailed carpentry vendor. Based on that information in Acumatica, it automatically pulled up some defaults for that company. Now you can see here as I'm selecting these fields in Acumatica or here over on the left. So for example, this vendor reference, it's going to start to highlight where it found that on the document over here on the right. So I have a chance to review that, and if it made a mistake here, I can correct it and say, well, maybe that wasn't the the number I was looking for. I was looking for this field. So I can correct it and help it learn. And that's where the machine learning now starts to kick in, right? So as I continue to process invoices from this particular vendor and I retrain it, it's going to get smarter, right? And it'll eventually pick up the corrections for you and you'll no longer have to do that. So you do have an option here to retrain the tool if it gets it wrong, right? And again, as I continue to go through here, you can see the amount, picked up the correct amount. There's 3 line items there. It went through and picked up that information. Now, Acumatica has also built in some additional capability here recently. So maybe in the past, it would have, if there was a reference to your subcontract number here, we would pick that information up or a particular PO, right? If we can find it and it sees it, right, we can go ahead and grab that information and link it to a purchase order. But if the information is not available on the invoice or what have you, you can come in here and manually kind of step into this process a little bit and go out. For example, here it found the line items, but maybe some of the project information was missing. So I can't come in here. It's automatically going out and seeing that I have that subcontract out in the system because it did read the contract number, and I can come in here, for example, go ahead and link it to that item in my actual contract. And now it's pulling forward some of my cost coding and job costing information that's embedded within that contract in the system. Right now, Sometimes there may be additional, there could be multiple contracts on here, or they can, they may have other information on their invoice that's not specific to that contract that you want to kind of go through and avoid. So it allows you to kind of filter through that here a little bit. Sorry, mistake there, like that, and save. And so now we've pulled together, some missing information here. I'm gonna do the same thing with linking it to a purchase order line and so forth. And again, if the data is there, I can train it to go find that information as well, right? So over time, this gets smarter in processing that. So now, we've gone in here, we've got the invoice. So when we go ahead and process this, so we're gonna go ahead and save and continue. This is now going to go over into our AP module and create that bill for us, right? So now we've gone over and we're actually into our AP invoices screen here. We've got a new bill that you can see here. There's our vendor info and so forth, project information that we were tied to. There are our line items that they were invoicing us for here. And so we've got, what looks good here. We've got most of our information there. Attached to that, let's make sure we save that. Attach that information now. There's your PDF of your invoice, right? And if we wanted to view that, we could quickly see that attached to our bill here. Now, at this point, if there were any changes that we needed to make, we can step in here and correct anything that we needed to based on our intelligence of reviewing this information. And then at this point, this is now where Acumatica's approval workflows and so forth can kick into gear. So as I take this bill off of hold here, you see it kicked into an approval cycle here. We've gone into a pending and approval cycle, or status, I should say. And then on our approval tabs here, we see that we met one criteria. And within these approval maps, we can go through and define the criteria, right, that we want this to go through. And so in this case, we met one criteria that needs to go to Martin here for approval. So that could be triggered off of things like maybe the project. It could have been triggered off of the vendor. It could be triggered off an amount. A certain dollar value threshold got exceeded, therefore it needs to go to this person. Maybe first step here is that it's going to my project manager for review. And if they're fine with it, and they pass it along, might meet the next criteria, which is finance, might need to approve it, et cetera, right? So you have complete flexibility over defining those workflows and how you'd like that information to flow. And then notifications and so forth can all be sent within the system, letting people know that, hey, there's a document that may require their approval. And that could be a simple text message. It could be a notification on their phone. It could be an email. It could leave or highlight some information on a dashboard that we were looking at earlier. So lots of different ways that your personnel can get notified that there's an item requiring their attention, right? So that's just quickly how we can jump in, and AI jumps into our AP process here, helps us take some data out of that document, populate the information for us. We can make it smarter as we work with it and teach it to go grab the correct information. So that's on the AP side. From an expense management perspective, we also have some AP capability going on here. So I'm going to come over into our time and expense workspace. We're going to leave that document there. And I'm going to also share my mobile device for you here. We're going to process my apologies for the dog. We can go through here and share my phone. There we go. Give me 1 second. There we are. All right. So, and Acumatica does have mobile apps for both iOS and Android. This is my iPhone that you're seeing here. I apologize for any crazy messages that might come across. This is my personal phone. But basically, permissions will persist from device to device. So whatever permissions you have within the browser is going to carry forward to you in the mobile apps. I happen to be an admin, so I have access to everything in our system here. But you can see here, I can come into that same time and expense module here. and I can begin to handle expense receipts. So maybe I'm out having to go purchase something for a project that I'm working out in the field, or I'm traveling and I want to capture my T&L expenses. We can come in here and you can see it's basically the same list that you see over here in the browser is available to me over here on my phone. Now, a couple different options here. I could come in here, click the plus, go to add a complete new receipt, and fill out the information in a very manual fashion. We're going to skip that here today. And I'm going to just come in here and snap on that camera option for me. And so I've got a little Home Depot receipt here that I work with. We're going to snap a picture of that. And it'll give me the ability to kind of crop that image a little bit and just hone in on the receipt. So it's done a pretty good job of that. I'm fine with that. Now at this point, that same AI engine that was kicking in with the AP document is now going through and doing that recognition on this invoice, right? And as you can see, it's done a fairly decent job. It recognized it was the Home Depot and it picked up the date and got the correct amount on there. Now at this point, if I wanted to step in here, maybe if this was a project related expense, I could come in here and select my project and start tying it back to the project. Or maybe somebody else does that later downstream, right? If you don't want your field personnel to do that. But at this point, I'm good with that. I do have to add in here what type of an expense it was. Also something that it'll start to learn over time. We're just going to call it an office expense for now. So again, if I go ahead and save that, now at this point, it's already in the system here. If I refresh over in the browser, there you go. You can see we've added that additional Home Depot receipt there. So it's fairly real time between the mobile device and the browser. Everything's just simply going to the cloud, right? So it's all the same information. Now, if we come into that receipt here, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my phone. So we're good with that. And so at this point, I could throw away my receipt, right? I'm good to go. I've got it in the system. I don't need to carry those around. And I can come back at a later point and begin to process this receipt for reimbursement if I need to. At this point, you can see here if I click on the paper clip, there's the image that we just snapped on the invoice. You can see it did a nice job, got the total correct and so forth. And so I can continue this process with any other receipts that I may have. And then at some point here, when I'm ready to go ahead and maybe submit an expense claim, I can select an individual receipt here or really grab any. So we're going to grab a couple of these here that we're going to go ahead and put on an expense claim. So at this point, it's just gathering those three items and taking it over into our expense claim window. And so there's the items that it grabbed. Again, I can review that. It's got the images and so forth attached to it. Provide any other information my organization needs me to provide. And if I'm good with that, I can go ahead and submit that expense claim for processing. So those are just a couple of quick examples of Acumatica, engaging the AI capabilities here to assist in some of these processes that we all do on a daily basis, whether that be your expense management, AP doc recs, quick search, and as Gib mentioned, a whole host of other capabilities that are coming with the Acumatica platform and or already here.